Let me tell you something, people. This is yet another piece of evidence that Oprah Winfrey is fake news. News people do not require the campaign to pay us so we can interview them. I did a town hall of...
We all know what we're voting against. So I want to end by reminding you about a few things that we're voting for. We are voting to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States. We are voting for values. We are voting for values and integrity.
Oprah was recently forced to confront reality. So who do you think's holding the receipts? Think of it like showing up at a party only to have Megyn Kelly stroll in and bluntly tell you your outfit is a disaster. This isn't just commentary. It's a full-on takedown, executed with zero restraint. And if you thought Oprah was untouchable, think again. Megyn has practically turned the Oprah Winfrey Show into the Oprah Winfrey Show, leaving no room for grace or composure.
Election when I sat down with the Tim Walz Stolen Valor former colleagues. Do you think I charged them to set up the set? No, I didn't. Megyn Kelly paid for it. The Megyn Kelly Show, along with SiriusXM. F these. What is happening here? It's just a way of lining your pocket. Like, wink, wink, Oprah. Sure would be great if you would set up this town hall for us and we'll pay you $1 million for your beautiful set. And then maybe you could...
Oprah has spent decades perfecting an image so polished it could have been crafted in a Hallmark studio. She's more than just a person. She's a brand, a lifestyle, and a spiritual mood board rolled into one. From book clubs to lavish car giveaways, she's long been regarded as society's moral compass, guiding us toward luxury bath towels, eco-conscious smoothies, and the must-have picks from her annual favorites list.
I used to love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. You know, before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah might be intentionally misleading me. Then last night, the dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter. She's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever she believes, not what's real. So
Oprah built her empire on the idea that she was untouchable. That aura of you get a car generosity, a goddess surrounded by wealth and goodwill, was supposed to shield her from criticism. But therein lies the problem. The higher you rise, the more spectacular the fall becomes. And Megyn Kelly wasn't there to poke fun at Oprah's legacy. She came armed with a sledgehammer. Her icy, unflinching bluntness slices through PR gloss like a hot knife through vegan butter.
Remember she did that kind of factual interview after the quote documentary of Michael Jackson?
Yes.
That was so dishonest.
Yes.
She did not raise any of those accusers' serious compromising facts when she had them right there. Maybe they're telling the truth, maybe they're not. But as a journalist, you have to at least ask. You know, you've got multiple lawsuits against his estate, sir. Might that be an incentive to lie? Didn't ask. You've got these accusations against him. You had a book that you were supposed to produce about Michael Jackson in the context of litigation where you were required to turn this stuff over, and you lied saying that you didn't have it. And you only got found out because Random House and these other publishers admitted you shopped it to them and turned over the metadata to Michael Jackson's.
When you think about it, it's almost poetic. Oprah, the ultimate sanctuary of warmth and optimism, dons a cardigan stitched with heartfelt messages. Megyn Kelly, by contrast, is direct, sharp-eyed, and has no patience for untouchable icons. If Oprah is the media's comfort food, Megyn is the black coffee no one asked for, but everyone realizes they need. It's like sending a Navy SEAL to lead a yoga retreat, two worlds colliding in the most unexpected way.
When was the last time Oprah actually spent time hanging out with a working class person in America? She's on her Montecito estate with one of the most beautiful mansions known to man. And that is why she did not follow up with Kamala Harris in response to that stupid gun question with, well, you're on camera saying that you favor mandatory gun buybacks. So how would that work? The Oprah enthusiasm worked when it was genuine. When she first hit the scene in like the 1980s and she was fresh out of Chicago, she was in Chicago for the launch of her national talk show. She was something electric and interesting and authentic, you know? I miss Fat Oprah. She was just genuine. Now this thin Ozempic Oprah has lost along with the pound.
In recent years, Oprah's legacy has reached near holy status. She turned daytime television into a kind of temple where viewers at home felt spiritually uplifted just by tuning in. Audiences cried, guests confessed, and millions of books flew off the shelves. She launched careers, turned therapy into mainstream entertainment, and wielded influence that politicians would envy. People hung on her every word and mimicked her endorsements of causes, lifestyles, and even political figures. Oprah wasn't just a host, she became America's most powerful cultural priestess. But what happens when the high priestess forgets her sermon? What if the portrayal of limitless compassion starts to feel a little staged? Enter Megyn Kelly. She responds to questions like these with a force that makes you wonder if she's secretly fueled by the tears these celebrities shed. In Oprah's world of polished reverence, Megyn Kelly is completely out of place. Confrontational, skeptical, unflinching, she built her career on calling out hypocrisy and challenging sacred cows. And this isn't a small spat over a latte, it's a full-blown cultural showdown.
Her schoolgirl affectations and body movements, like, okay, ready? Here it is, like, okay. She raises herself off her chair. Like, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about this. Okay.
You're so right.
Okay. You're like,
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something you haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
It's going to blow your mind.
Okay. Right, like that.
Right.
Once again, Oprah was doling out broad statements about culture, politics, and morals. The kind that look impressive on Instagram but crumble under scrutiny. For years, few dared to challenge her, quietly nodding along. But Megyn Kelly wasn't having it. She glanced at the polished motivational display and said, "Cute speech, but where's the consistency?" That was the wrecking ball hitting the scene. Megyn didn't just mock Oprah, she highlighted the contradictions. She questioned why no one had noticed the gap between Oprah's meticulously ordered persona and the messy reality behind it. This wasn't a compliment, it was a full-on demolition derby. Suddenly, the charming kingdom had to contend with a renegade. And honestly, Oprah hasn't been untouchable in a long time, which made the showdown even more compelling. The contrast between their styles is striking. After leading a 10-minute gratitude meditation, Oprah might enter the room exuding calm and poise. Then Megyn would flip the switch, asking bluntly, "Why are we pretending everything's fine when it clearly isn't?" Every time the lights went on, the question hit like a thunderclap.
One of the things that's unique to America, for better or worse, is the huge population of obese people. And we're going to end this on a lighter note. Kind of, it's a pun. It's not really a lighter note. Well, it kind of actually is a lighter note. Oprah is admitting she's on Ozempic. And I know this is, our team asked you what was interesting to you today. This was on your list and mine. Because of course, you've done a lot of shows on Ozempic. I've listened to some of them. We've talked about this, there's a bunch of drugs. That's just one of the name brands. And now she said she originally wouldn't go on it because she thought it would be, quote, cheating. But now she's admitted that her recent weight loss is due to Ozempic. So what do you make of it?
One discussion was about vibes, the other a cold, hard reality check. Watching it unfold feels like seeing a bubble pop in slow motion as Megyn dismantles Oprah's carefully curated identity. You know it's coming, and yet you can't look away, even knowing it's going to be loud. What makes this confrontation so captivating isn't just Megyn's sass. She brings reasoning evidence and sharp illustrations to the table. Oprah wields real power. Her endorsements can sway elections. Her words shape cultural conversations, and her aura of perfection discourages dissent. That's why Megyn's critique lands so hard. She wasn't merely mocking, she was switching on the fluorescent lights in what everyone assumed was a perfectly polished, untouchable space. No one had ever criticized Oprah so openly, so forcefully, and with so much sharp wit tucked into their pocket. It felt almost revolutionary, despite Oprah having faced minor controversies before. People were stunned. The fact that Oprah has long been seen as untouchable makes Megyn's intervention all the more striking. Cracks are now visible in the once impenetrable image, and the topic won't stop circulating, all thanks to Megyn's boldness.
Was very compromised, and she had him right after the documentary. It aired on HBO right after. Didn't ask a question. Then she gets Meghan Markle. That was another propaganda fest where she didn't even try to pretend to be a journalist. And then we get the debacle last night.
Yes. So, great point about the Michael Jackson thing, because Oprah is a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, right? You would think anyone, especially a journalist coming from that background, would view him with a bit more of a jaundiced eye rather than be in the business of image rehabilitation for this guy.
No, but she wasn't.
And this was just the beginning. Megyn's sharpest moves weren't even in her initial statements. They came from forcing everyone else to confront questions they'd been dodging. If Oprah isn't untouchable, which other cultural icons need a reality check? Stripping away the polish, Megyn revealed that Oprah's glittering empire was more papier-mâché than solid gold. She didn't rely on rumors or vague accusations. The clean, pointed dossier of contradictions she brought made her feel like Oprah's furious accountant. Megyn argued that hypocrisy was the first misstep. For decades, Oprah has preached humility, balance, and simplicity while simultaneously flaunting multi-billion-dollar estates and private jets as if auditioning for a Broadway musical. Classic do as I say, not as I do. But Megyn refused to let it slide. She laid it bare for everyone to see, asking the question everyone was thinking. Is this self-help or just a sales pitch? Listening to Oprah can feel like floating on air. Listening to Megyn, it's like being hit by hail, followed by the eerie realization that the storm was entirely man-made.
And the accusers may or may not have had this experience with Michael Jackson.
Oh, you're talking about the HBO doc? Yes.
But she failed to bring up prior inconsistencies in their stories that really did compromise their stories. I don't know what happened.
I understand what you're saying.
So
okay,
I'm just saying, as a journalist, which she purports to be,
right,
it was a complete fail.
Right.
And then she committed the same failure with Meghan Markle,
yes,
where she didn't press any of her claims of racism in the royal family. Mm-hmm. And now we have the ultimate culmination of her journalistic fails, right? Where she has the potential next president of the United States. And not only does she not ask her hard questions, the whole thing was an attempted rehab and repackaging of her.
That town hall I thought was so suspicious because...
But it wasn't just hypocrisy that Megyn called out. Let's be real, Oprah is more than a celebrity. Things got truly intense when Megyn challenged her political influence. Oprah is a kingmaker. Elections have swayed because of her endorsements, her opinions shape public discourse, and people often follow her guidance as if she were parting the Red Sea of political chaos. Megyn dared to point out the obvious. Why does a single wealthy talk show host wield so much sway over democracy? That question landed like a cold slap across the nation. Suddenly, Oprah's role as a cultural and political guide started to feel less like inspiration and more like one person pulling the strings. Not because she isn't entitled to her views, but because no one had dared confront the magnitude of her influence. Even if she promoted a dubious product, a fake diet plan, or dabbled in politics, most people would still assume her intentions were pure. Megyn broke through that halo, declaring bluntly, "Intent doesn't erase impact."
Has been circulating on social media. I saw it on X a couple of times. And it was back when we still liked Oprah in 1988, when she was still somewhat self-deprecating and likable, not her billionaire actress self, like, what? With Meghan Markle. What? They wanted to know how dark your baby was gonna, what? We don't like that version. However, fat, fun Oprah was great. So Oprah had Trump on in 1988 when he was, by my math, 41 years old.
Wow.
And listen to this exchange.
What would you...
It's striking to see Oprah's polished image disrupted by someone who clearly didn't care about the fallout. Megyn took no precautions, no disclaimers, no polite preface. She dared anyone to disagree, swinging facts like baseball bats. Who ordered fireworks? It felt like lighting a match in a room full of scented candles. The takedown worked not just because of Megyn's words, but because no one else had the courage to speak. For years, Oprah has been surrounded by admirers. Politicians fear her influence, fans hang on her every word, and celebrities value her endorsement. In that environment, even a small critique feels like heresy. Megyn didn't just critique, she sparked a full-scale rebellion. Standing in the center of the metaphorical church, she called out the stained glass windows as fake. The audience response was telling. Oprah's fans defended her by ignoring Megyn and sharing motivational memes, while Megyn's supporters cheered her bravery in a climate where others stayed silent. It was a fascinating divide. Half the internet grabbed popcorn to watch the chaos, while the other half joined in with affirmations.
I've talked about it on my podcast with Peter Attia. I talk about it to anyone who will listen. I used Ozempic. I lost 15 pounds on it. I was on the lowest dose, and it was incredibly effective. And, you know, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. No one should follow my medical advice. But there are horribly horribly deleterious effects from being massively overweight. And now the fact that people who have struggled for an extremely long time, as Oprah's talked about struggling, I mean, that's been a huge part of her public persona, can take a drug that is so unbelievably effective. Good for her. And I don't know if you agree or not, but I think that it's a good thing to take the stigma away.
Oprah's fans quickly leaned on the usual defenses, insisting she's just human and only trying to help. But Megyn's critique went deeper than that. If Oprah is simply a person, she shouldn't be treated as an infallible deity whose every word is gospel. The more people defended her as a flawed human, the more her carefully curated image revealed itself to be exactly that, an image. And Megyn shredded it into confetti. The comedy hits hardest here. Picture Oprah's brand as a towering, elegant wedding cake, perfectly frosted and intimidating. Megyn steps up, no fork needed, and slices into it with precision, not out of malice, but to show that beneath the icing, it's just another crumbly, imperfect cake. For the first time in decades, Oprah was treated like an ordinary person, a reality both shocking and fascinating. And because Megyn delivered it with razor-sharp sarcasm that makes you laugh while secretly nodding, her point stood out more than any others ever could.
Really feel like she's just out of step with where broadcasting has gone since she was a star. It's not screaming in people's faces. She's out of touch.
Thanks for joining us for this very special event, Unite for America! Hope and joy rising. And there's been can you feel it? You can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it. We can feel it. Chefs for Kamala, love that group. Republicans for Harris, love that group even more.
Speculating about Oprah's reaction is half the fun. Her dominance has always relied on controlling the narrative. Then Megyn shows up, completely unplanned. It's like someone storming onto a meticulously choreographed Broadway show hosted by Oprah and shouting, "This is nonsense!" You can almost feel the stunned silence. The issue wasn't Megyn's tone, it was the code being cracked. Instead of a flawless goddess, the rug was pulled out from under an icon, revealing a billionaire with real flaws, power, and inconsistencies. This hit at the heart of our culture's obsession with elevating celebrities to untouchable status. Once Oprah's reputation was exposed as human, the chain reaction began. If Oprah isn't immune to criticism, maybe no one is.